Alongside Brent Hubbs, I'm Austin Price for the Volquest.com stock report on this Ole Miss week. Brent, stock up for you this week.
Stock up for me is those transfer newcomers on offense. I mean, everybody talks about what can you land in the transfer portal and how big can the transfer portal be for you? Well, how big is it being for Tennessee right now? Hendon Hooker, one of the top quarterbacks in the SEC, along with Matt Corral, who'll be in town this weekend. Javonte Payton doesn't catch a lot of passes, but they're all touchdowns, at least the last 4 weeks that's been the case. And I know Tyon Evans is not a transfer from another school, but he's a junior college transfer newcomer. Tennessee's veteran newcomers on the offensive side of the ball is what's got the Tennessee fan base so excited about where they are right now. I mean, Velus Jones was here a year ago, but he's a transfer as well. It's these guys that Tennessee didn't sign out of high school, Austin, that has this offense going.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to go Velus Jones on my stock up this week. I just think that, his move to the slot has been, so good for him. It's been so good for the offense, and he is just so tough to tackle. I mean, yards after contact have been something that he has just gobbled up, over the last few weeks. So, it kind of reminds me of like an Amari Rodgers from a standpoint. He's a strong lower body, very, very, you just don't get defenders bounce off of him. And, he's doing a nice job in the slot. So I go stock up Velus Jones. Stock down for me is the ability to defend a mobile quarterback when they break contain. Tennessee has struggled with that a little bit this year. Emory Jones obviously had success for the Gators. And, even on last Saturday, Tennessee was sitting over the 3rd and 15 at one point in the ball game. And here goes Luke Doty out the backside for 17 and jogging out of bounds. And you're just like, man, you got to get off the field. Matt Corral's a better athlete than Luke Doty. So I go stock down the ability to do, to do just that.
Yeah, stock down for me. Before, by the way, I love the Amari Rodgers comparison with Velus Jones. I hadn't thought about that, but I think that's a great comparison with what his game is and kind of how Amari Rodgers' game is. For me, stock down is the coverage units on special teams. They've given up obviously the long kickoff return for a touchdown against Missouri. They busted the punt coverage or the whatever you want to call that, where they give up a fake punt and punt safe, which should never happen against South Carolina. They've given up some longer kickoff returns for good field position the last couple of weeks for a group that was really good. I mean, really good against Pittsburgh, to the point that Pittsburgh decided to start fair catching everything. Those coverage units on special teams have to get better. Jones was great in Tennessee's return game last week, so I'm not giving him a down mark. But the coverage units for Tennessee, that they got to find another gear this week against Ole Miss.
Stock stagnant for me. I'm going to go with just Tennessee's, turnovers. I just think that, yes, Tennessee's won the turnover battle in league play the last 3 weeks. They have not turned it over offensively, but they've not won it by big margins. And they've not really forced, quarterbacks into bad throws. Tennessee's got to find a way, whether it be through the crowd, through pressure, to force Matt Corral into some bad throws. He's not thrown a pick this year. So can Tennessee make that happen? That's why I go stock stagnant. I mean, they've done a nice job, but to me, this is a classic game of, the right turnover or two could decide this game one way or the other on either side.
Yeah, stock stagnant for me is just this moment. Tennessee's not been here. This is virgin territory for everybody in orange. You got a sellout crowd. Tennessee hadn't done that in a long time. This is not a top 5 team or anything like that with Ole Miss coming in, but this is a game that's got electric atmosphere. You've got a jazzed up fan base. They're going to be ready to go. We've talked about, a week ago, the question was, could Tennessee handle success? To me, the question is, can they handle this moment? Can they be the team that's got the patience they need to have? Can they be the team who can play clean football and not let the moment be too big for them, and in turn let that crowd really affect Ole Miss? I think that's a big question mark for me. And we don't have any evidence of whether they can or they can't, because they've not been in this situation. So I'm going to be really interested to see how this team plays in this atmosphere on Saturday night.
He is Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price for the Volquest.com stock report.